Chapter 4. Peaches. Soft and hollow, how thou dost overcome the hard and full. It dies, it gives itself. To thee is the fruit. Be thou the bride, thou shalt be the mother hereafter. To all impressions thus, let them not overcome thee, yet let them breed within thee. The least of the impressions, come to its perfection, is Pan. Receive 1,000 lovers, thou shalt bear but one child. This child shall be the heir of Fate the Father. Chapter 5. The Battle of the Ants. That is not which is. The only word is silence. The only meaning of that word is not. Thoughts are false. Fatherhood is unity disguised as duality. Peace implies war. Power implies war. Harmony implies war. Victory implies war. Glory implies war. Foundation implies war. Alas for the kingdom wherein all these are at war. Chapter 6. Caviar. The word was uttered. The one exploded into 1,000 million worlds. Each world contained 1,000 million spheres. Each sphere contained 1,000 million planets. Each planet contained 1,000 million stars. Each star contained many thousand million things. Of these the reasoner took 6, and, preening, said, "This is the one and the all." These 6 the adept harmonized, and said, "This is the heart of the one and the all." These 6 were destroyed by the master of the temple, and he spake not. The ash thereof was burnt up by the magus into the word. Of all this did the Ipsissimus know nothing. Chapter 7. The Dinosaurs. None are they whose number is 6, else were they 6 indeed. 7 are these 6 that live not in the city of the pyramids, under the night of Pan. There was Lao Tzu, there was Siddhartha, there was Krishna, there was Tahuti, there was Moshe, there was Dionysus, there was Mahmud. But the 7th men called Perdurabo, or enduring unto the end, at the end, was not to endure. Amen. Chapter 8. Steeped Horsehair. Mind is a disease of semen. All that a man is or may be is hidden therein. Bodily functions are parts of the machine, silent unless in disease. But mind, never at ease, creaketh I. This I persisteth not, posteth not through generations, changeth momently, finally is dead. Therefore is man only himself, when lost to himself in the charioting. Chapter 9. The Branks. Being is the noun, form is the adjective, matter is the noun, motion is the verb. Wherefore hath being clothed itself with form? Wherefore hath matter manifested itself in motion? Answer not, O silent one, for there is no wherefore, no because. The name of that is not known. The pronoun interprets, that is, misinterprets, it. Time and space are adverbs. Duality begat the conjunction. The conditioned is father of the preposition. The article also marketh division, but the interjection is the sound that endeth in silence. Destroy thereof the 8 parts of speech. The 9th is nigh unto truth. This also must be destroyed, before thou enterest into the silence. Aum. Chapter 10. Whittle Straws. The abyss of hallucination has law and reason, but in truth there is no bond between the toys of the gods. This reason and law is the bond of the great lie. Truth, 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 crieth the Lord of the abyss of hallucinations. There is no silence in that abyss, for all that men call silence is its speech. The abyss is also called hell, and the many. Its name is consciousness and the universe among men. But that which neither is silent nor speaks rejoices therein. Chapter 11. The Glowworm. Concerning the holy three and not, knew it, had it, Rahur Kuit, are only to be understood by the master of the temple. They are above the abyss and contain all contradiction in themselves. Below them is a seeming duality of chaos and Babylon. These are called father and mother, but it is not so. They are called brother and sister, but it is not so. They are called husband and wife, but it is not so. The reflection of all is Pan. The night of Pan is the annihilation of the all. Cast down through the abyss is the light, the rosy cross, the rapture of union that destroys. That is the way. The rosy cross is the ambassador of Pan. How infinite is the distance from this to that, yet all is here and now, nor is there any there or then, for all that is, what is it, but a manifestation, that is a part, that is a falsehood, of that which is not. Yet that which is not neither is nor is not that which is. Identity is perfect, therefore the law of identity is but a lie. For there is no subject, and there is no predicate, nor is there the contradictory of either of these things. Holy, holy, holy are these truths that I utter, knowing them to be but falsehoods. Broken mirrors, troubled waters, hide me, O Our Lady, in thy womb, for I may not endure the rapture. In this utterance of falsehood upon falsehood, whose contradictories are also false, it seems as if that which I uttered not were true. Blessed, unutterably blessed, is the last of the illusions. Let me play the man and thrust it from me. Amen. Chapter 12. The Dragonflies. I-O is the cry of the lower, as O-I of the higher. In figures they are 1001. In letters they are joy. For when all is equilibrated, when all is beheld from without all, there is joy, joy, joy that is but one facet of a diamond. Every other facet whereof is more joyful than joy itself. Chapter 13. Pilgrim Talk. O thou that settest upon the path, false is the phantom that thou seekest. When thou hast it, thou shalt know all bitterness, thy teeth fixed in the Sodom apple. Thus hast thou been lured along that path, whose terror else had driven thee far away.
Hence Torah, a text you will never see.
Hey, comedian.
Shalom. Hello, like I miss you, man.
What's that? Of course not. Here to stop for you. You're spiritually inadequate for it.
What a shame.
Yeah, it is.
Aziz,
That's why you are the way you are.
Aziz, you're not
I
gonna get
actually
the
want to
Torah?
study the hadiths to get a better appreciation for the Gemara.
Yeah, it's a real ride in the country.
You hear that?
Sometimes a person doesn't appreciate what they have until they see alternatives. love to hear.
Yeah. Well, I've said it before, and I'll keep saying it. This story of redemption, in which we're enslaved, and then we are freed by God, and we're now in the desert. We receive the Torah. Is a story that tells us that our suffering was meaningful, that it wasn't for nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why the Haggadah says, we'd still be slaves to Pharaoh in Egypt. And everyone asks, wait a minute, we wouldn't be because the Egyptian empire has fallen. So no, we'd still have the slave mentality. We'd be like, exactly.
It's metaphorical, and it didn't happen to them. It happened to us here, sitting at this table. I mean, right? That's tremendously powerful.
Yes.
But then others read it, and I guess obviously it's the most popular story in human history, right? I mean, more people.
Yes.
And the problem is they think that it has to be them and not us. So they have to supersede us. You're laughing because it's so right, correct?
It's amazing. Yeah.
Thank you.
It's amazing.
It hit me one day when we were dealing with the BHI.
Oh, I mean,
You ain't no Jew.
I don't understand though. Like, if you really want to get supersession, if you want to like be like L. Ron Hubbard mixed with something like that's super. If you want to.
You're doing your teeth.
Oh.
Mute up. You're doing your teeth. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Extra points for the electric toothbrush. So
It sounds like the Sonic, though. I don't like the Sonic.
I don't know. I just remember the Philips. Does Philips make Sonic here? I don't remember. But,
I think it does.
I don't get why no religious innovator, religious entrepreneur of religion didn't just like go back before the Bible and resurrect and elaborate like Hammurabi Code or the Epic of Gilgamesh and just like don't supersede the Torah, like copy something that came before the Torah.
It's not as good. It's like there's the Yankees and there's everybody else.
Have you ever smelled the Torah?
Have you ever danced with the Torah? When I came up with that, man, I think I was like falling asleep and my mind was wide open. That was really, really funny.
Wait, this goes all the way back to you, Norm?
Oh yeah, it's so great. And then like Galilean will do an impression of him, and like everyone has like an impression of it. It's really, really good.
Thank you, Danny. I'm glad you were there I'm glad you were there for it. It's very sweet that I have an audience of like.
I don't know if I was there for the first time, but I've definitely been there for other people bringing it up, so I know it enough to do it.
Really?
You know?
When I'm not there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who does Galilean?
Yeah.
You said Nair?
Oh, there. Oh, yeah. He and I did it back and forth a little bit, like we were bouncing it back. Yeah. Because I started with like you've never eaten. Like people start quoting it, right? They go Torah and Talmud, like they don't know what they're talking about. So I go, you've never seen a Torah, and then I said, and then one day it was like Simchas Torah was on. I just came out with, have you ever danced with a Torah?
Oh,
And then we just kept doing shtick.
Yeah, no, that's a good one.
Yeah, thanks. Anyway, it's almost a transformative moment to hear those two bits from Rabbi Nachman and then from the Alter Rebbe and then Rabbi Nachman last night. It's very, like you said, you just thanked me for saying it. I just heard it last night from Peekaboo and Doge. It's very powerful.
It's super powerful, yeah. He was my 7th great-grandfather of Nachman.
Pretty much one in, I would say, 5 people that I meet tell me that.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, including, I think both Doge and Peekaboo, maybe it was just Doge, had a claim like that. Might have been the identical claim. Pretty much everybody
like
meets.
my great grandmother's last name was Morgenstern.
The funny thing is, if you do the genealogy, if you ever like test your DNA, you see that we're all fourth cousins.
Yes, I just told Danny that we're within fifth cousins, mostly.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, we have common ancestry on the thing.
When I did it, like one of the first things that came up was the mother of a friend of mine from high school. Okay, like a best friend. I guess I could even say his name, Howard Levy. So I picked up the phone and called the number that she had in high school, which was a while ago, if you can imagine, right? It's a while ago. And she picked up the phone. She was there, and my friend from high school was there too. Like he was visiting her. So
And then
my
what
best friend
happened? You said that you're related, and then what?
Yeah, and then we just started calling each other cousin, and we sort of rekindled the friendship. Not with her, but with him. And she was actually packing up the apartment and moving it to like an assisted living facility. Like she was like 80-something years old, the mother of the high school friend.
Oh,
It's a weird coincidence.
yeah.
Danny, could you make me a cup of coffee, please? I like it strong.
I'm already in the car.
Comedian, how often do you study Tanya?
You know, I go through cycles where it's like I want to switch out books, but I always seem to go back to it. You know, I've been recording it on YouTube and making shorts, like 60-second clips of it, and they get a lot of views. It's very because
Do you
Why
want
don't you
to
give me the link and I'll follow it too?
yeah, sure.
you say that you're a descendant of Menachem?
No, if you Google Reb Gershon Kitover, he was the brother-in-law of the Baal Shem Tov, but my father's side is from Ukraine, so you know the whole thing in Uman with Reb Nachman.
Are we
There are some
related?
families in Chicago. You know Eichenstein in Chicago?
Ivanstein?
Eichenstein.
Eichenstein?
The
No.
Zidderchev Hasidus.
No.
They have a shul on Tui and a shul on Devon.
Yeah, I mean, I know the shul on Devon. I was gonna do some video work for them. They wanted me to like volunteer to film whatever it is they do, but I never did it.
Yeah, you're probably a cousin to them.
Yeah,
Wasn't that an incredible moment last night, comedian?
yeah. It's amazing because you could spend years here and hear no wisdom, just people's politicking. It's crazy.
But I mean, maybe this is something wrong here, but I get something out of the anger that fills me.
What do you get out of the anger?
Energy and insight, and it's just, I could go for hours and hours.
Really?
Yeah.
To me, it does the opposite.
I
Interesting.
know, I think most people are like that, but it fills me with energy.
I once met a psychoanalyst who was trained in Israel, particularly during the Second Intifada, did a lot of crisis trauma treatment survivors of terrorist attacks, and I asked him how he's able to devote 8, 10, 12 hours a day to therapy with really, really difficult situations, clients that have been through stuff that the average person hasn't. And he said, no, you don't understand. This is how it is built. It's like other people get sucked dry and burned out within a few years of practicing. This energizes me.
You know, I had a therapist, and I went to ask him, like, what something similar. What's it like for you all day long? You're listening to people's problems, and he said, "Who listens?"
Okay, I'm not sure I fully understand his response.
I was kidding.
Well, when you have conversations on here, it's definitely as if you're acting like a therapist, you know, for the people on here who have a lot of this derangement syndrome and anger, you know, and use really racist, profane terminology all the time. You can actually act as a facilitator for their therapist by absorbing their bullshit, but eventually it's, you know, it impacts your emotional state. It's very, very difficult. You know, there are some really toxic, nasty people on here.
That's why most therapists are in therapy. It's almost mandated to have supervision.
I wonder. I am pretty much shocked that people are so toxic. I know there's toxic people, but maybe you naturally avoid them. Like not stepping in excrement when you're walking down the street. But it's a little surprising to me that people are so filled with animus.
Well, they're
Am
mediated
I
by the
toxic, El Norma? Am I toxic?
Not at all. You're the opposite. How could you be toxic?
A bunch of people said I was.
Well, this is a bit okay. This is my second psychological insight. It's all because I've been around a while, so I think about these things. This is a really, really, really enormous problem in life. Enormous. People put their sickness on you because they can't deal with it, and it terrifies them and makes them feel just incredibly badly. It depresses them. They can't cope with their own nastiness and ugliness and hate and psychological twistedness, so they project it onto you. You have to really watch out for that. And unfortunately, that's even true with people that you like, that are like your friends in relationships, or your husband or wife. They put it onto you. It's like a judo. It's a really
Yeah,
bad
but if you
thing.
call them out and you say you're projecting that to me, it like nullifies what they're doing, and they become aware of what
Say
they're
it
doing.
again.
I say it all the time where I say you're projecting on me, and then it wakes them up and they go, "Fuck, you're right," or sometimes they deny it.
I think they will mostly deny it if they're still messed up people, and I don't even know if they get it. If you hear it too many times, they don't really like. All those things where they go, Jews have been thrown out of countries. Like that's like a BS story that somebody just pulled out of the air. You go take a look at the Palestinians. They were thrown out of Jordan. They were thrown out of Lebanon. They were thrown out of Kuwait. I mean, they're thrown out of Egypt. They were literally. You don't think about this, but they were ejected from every country in the region because they tried to kill the king of Jordan. They killed the president of Lebanon. They took over the president of Egypt and threw him in jail. They went to Kuwait when Kuwait was attacked by Saddam Hussein. They took the side of the attacker in Kuwait. They took the side of the bad guy against their hosts, which is very un-Islamic. So that's one example. Then another example is they say you're committing genocide, when in fact that's what they're doing. And they say it openly if you listen to them. We want to kick you out. We want the whole thing. So all of these things that they accuse, they say every accusation is a confession or whatever. But all of these things that they accuse you of is what they're doing. And part of the reason is some part of man or humans want to be good, but their superego, their conscience, is just constantly torturing them, telling them you're doing the wrong thing, you're doing the wrong thing. So to get around their conscience, they put it onto you. Was that too much, Danny?
No.
It ain't you, it's them.
But where does the cycle of hurt start? Like it's kind of a chicken and egg.
Starts with Jacob and Esau.
Or Cain and Abel.
Yeah.
Or even Adam Arishon. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the cycle always starts now. That's like the big thing in philosophy is that there's just this eternal now, and when people want to put you in the history, DeLorean to take you on a history time travel machine, that's when I start getting annoyed because I don't care what happened 200 years ago. I care what's happening now, and that's what people do is they use history as propaganda.
It's a justification. Like, I hate to even touch on this, but people go, well, what about slavery? What about Jim Crow? White people are bad. And, dude, I wasn't there. You weren't there. I was in some settle, somewhere, and, you're talking about your great-great-grandparents. Like, what are you putting this on me for? Now, what is it about the Jews that I don't really go around hating on Germans or Poles particularly. There's something about around us that we were able to not carry that around. I mean, I guess the previous generation did. By the way, I mean, I don't hate Germans, but I didn't love being in Germany. The whole thing kind of, I didn't like hearing German over the loudspeakers in the airport. It wasn't big, but it was a moment.
Wait, what's that last point you're making about what is it about Jews? Kind of lost the thread.
That we're able to forgive.
Are we though? Maybe most of us are, and maybe that's the explanation for the success and resiliency of our people through the ages. But we don't put a spotlight on the people that weren't able to be as resilient, which, you know, a strain of.
Yeah, no, that's true. We've taken a few body blows.
For sure.
But look at the U.S. I mean, the Jews are in the U.S. Look, the U.S. is now buddies with Germany. The U.S. is buddies with Japan. Like, we turned the whole thing around. Those were two of the most genocidal empires in history, certainly modern history. And now we're buddies. Like, how did we turn it around?
I don't know. Did we just sign a big arms deal with Germany in the last few years?
We Israel or we the U.S.?
Israel.
It was a $4 billion one, but I heard it went through. It was a defense deal. I also heard there was a lot of information leaked.
Mayor, we've been talking Torah. You would have liked it. I don't know how much you heard. It was good. It was transformed. Mayor knows a lot.
Yeah, I can read you one of the verses from Tanya if you want to hear it.
Yeah, why not? Anybody object?
Okay, this is called Task of Self. For the matter is very near to you, in your mouth and in your heart, that you may do it. What is the meaning of do it? Why does God manifest the physical world and cloth the ego in the shell of self? The self is a holy flame, the body is the wick, keeping the self grounded in this world. The heart is the oil that saturates the wick and feeds the flame. Acts of kindness are the light the self brings to the world. This is the it you are commanded to do. These are the commentary. Neshama and the Kelipat Noga. Neshama is your egoic intelligence. Nefesh, your physical intelligence. Ruach, your emotional intelligence. Selfless acts of loving kindness. Asiya, the physical world of action, is the densest of all the worlds and the one most in need of illumination. Just as a windowless room can be illumined from within, so Asiya must be illumined from within. You are the vehicle for that illumination, and you accomplish it by doing masim tovim, selfless acts of loving kindness. In the world of action, only action matters. Feeling is not enough. Thinking is not enough. You must act. And when you act well, your actions illumine the world.
Yeah, that's good.
I mean, Norma, have you ever gotten the feeling that life is like a theatrical play? You know, actors, actresses, and like I think that's more of like the Hinduistic version where it's all theatrical.
It's like an illusion. I mean, I'm a little acty, aren't I? I'm like a little bit of it's a little performance art.
Yeah.
I do it.
I made a poem like that, and then I got it sent to a psychologist in high school.
Well, it's performance.
I mean, Danny, that sounds like a recurring theme in your life.
Yeah, and my dad's a psychologist too.
Well, that probably explains part of it.
I mean, I think the question is, what are you doing for yourself that's positive every day? You know, you have to have some type of renewal or some type of book or something to, you know, course correct your psychology. You have to do actions that are mental health in, you know, basis or some type of therapeutic work. I think reading, I mean, I've been to psychologists, psychiatrists, and when I read Tanya, that's more helpful to me than talking to some psychologist at the VA hospital, you know, who wants to put you on a medication and they have no actual therapy program for you. I mean, I think education is the ultimate form of therapy.
What if like a lot of people are just missing God in their life?
Yeah.
Well, if God is everything, or Allah is God, I mean, then you're missing the concepts or the knowledge to essentially bring peace into your life. I mean, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, when you learn, about do unto your neighbor as you want to be done unto yourself, I mean, it's a little bit like a high school fight. The question is, who threw the first punch? Um, and in this conflict, it's like, I mean, I don't know. Can there be reconciliation with October 7th, or is this an all or nothing war to end, hopefully forever, this never-ending conflict in that specific area? I mean, even prior to October 7th, with all the rockets and everything else, it's like, you know, they're not treating us the way that we want to treat them. So it's like, that's the thing about all these Free Pally people. It's like, I don't know, when can Israel possibly, it's just so complicated. I don't know what the solution is.
I don't know. I have mixed feelings saying it, but I actually feel like some of these people actually are Amalek.
In the Tanya, there's. Go ahead, Danny.
Huh?
Why was Cain protected and no one could hurt him?
Is it like the same thing as Samson and Delilah? Like they've got like a superpower, but when you cut the hair, you lose your power.
I felt like that for a while. I didn't want to cut my hair.
I think girls are like that though, right?
It felt like a spiritual thing. I don't know. No, I cut my hair like 2 weeks ago.
I have this Jewish folklore book, and like even cutting your fingernails can be like a magical operation in a way. Like there's, I think, days or times, or there's ways to like dispose of your fingernails. I mean, if you're living in a shtetl and you're literally living by candlelight, every single object is important. Maybe even your fingernails. No credit cards, no electricity. Every little thing is more real. I mean, even your fingernails are, um, moments of the now, I suppose. I mean, you only cut your fingernails so many times before you croak.
But then what happens when you croak?
I don't know. I think you probably just get dispersed, metaphysically. You just return to disillusion, probably. It's probably like going to sleep. That would probably be the most accurate way, I think, to describe death.
Like anesthesia?
Yeah. I mean, if there is some type of reincarnation or afterlife or something, then it's just like waking up.
Comedian have you seen on Waking Life?
Is that a movie?
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen it. faking life.
Yeah, it's rotoscoped.
Yeah, I think it's kind of one of his better ones.
Any big name actors in it? Let me look it up.
Yeah, but that's not the point. But yeah, they're big and minor. They had that guy from the cruise, what's his name, Speed Levitt.
They had a little bit of who's the guy from InfoWars again?
Alex Jones.
Yeah, he appears.
I didn't even. I don't think I knew him at the time when he came out.
Yeah, me too.
I didn't realize he'd been around that long.
Yeah, I was
What a nut job.
I was working at Google as a contractor, and
You're working at what?
I was working at Google as an account manager, but I was a contractor, and so
Yeah.
the head of global security shows up in our office, calls me into a meeting, and says, "Do you know why I've requested to have a meeting with you?" I said, "No." I said, "Is it because I looked up Donald Trump?" And he goes, "Did you look up Alex Jones?" And I was like, "Well, yeah. I mean, you guys just deplatformed him from YouTube." So they were literally, I mean, they were monitoring my computer
Wow.
because I looked up Alex Jones. Like that was like a security threat to them, and they terminated me because of
What
that.
year?
They terminated you for looking up Alex Jones?
Yeah. Yep, a veteran. And I was like, "Are you?"
What?
Yeah, I'm a veteran. I'm like, how can you guys do this? I was like, I wasn't looking him up because I'm like an Alex Jones
Was that
supporter.
after Sandy Hook?
You can't hear anything you're saying, and this seems important.
Was that after Sandy Hook?
No, say what you just said, because we can't hear you.
This was in 2018, maybe. Anyways, yeah. It was no big deal, but I was just like, I was so depressed because it was such a great job, best job I ever
How
had.
can that be allowed that they can do that just for looking something up?
I
You
think,
shouldn't have done it at work, I guess.
yeah, I mean, I should have been. That's the thing is like I was so stupid to think that everything you do and say, at Google is not completely monitored. So that was stupid of me.
Well, I mean, were you putting in long hours, or were you inadequate
Yeah.
in some way?
Oh no,
I don't.
I was tip top. I mean, but I will say, you know what was funny is they have a buffet on the roof, and they have lox and bagels, Belgian waffles, 4 types of grits, and so every morning I was just
Yeah,
like,
I've been to these places, including Google. Yeah, they have a whole kitchen, like pantry full of food. So you don't leave, and you go back to your desk and eat or something.
I know, but at 11 a.m. after eating lox and bagels, I'm ready for a nap. I don't.
Yeah, true.
You get diabetes working there.
Yeah.
It was funny, but anyways, yeah, that was what happened to me, and everything. But I'm telling you, if you understand that everything that has ever happened to you was meant to happen to you, then it's like a positive reframe, and because you could be very successful, like you said yesterday, and have a lot of money, but still be very depressed. And so without
Right.
without
That
programming,
was also part of our conversation. I followed up to Doge/comedian. I said, do you know how many rich people I know that are miserable? And there are a lot, and I mean really rich. And then I said, use the same term that you were mentioning from the Tanya, a similar term, I should say, starving at the banquet. Go ahead, I just want to include
Guys.
What were you saying, Doge?
yeah, that you can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have programming or you refuse any type of programming, your life is going to be miserable. It's like I had terrible back pain when I came out of the military because I had all this anxiety and stress. And then I read this book called Dr. John Sarno's How to Cure Back Pain. And it's amazing how when you program your brain, it has physical outcomes. So it's like...
The back pain goes away. That's a famous Howard Stern book.
Yeah. Yep.
I know a lot of people into that book.
Yep.
And it's a little pamphlet. It's so easy. What's it called?
How to Cure Your Back Pain by Dr. John Sarno.
John Sarno is the author. And it's a little pamphlet. I thought it was called Healing Back Pain or something.
Yeah.
So many people have back. And some people go have
It's very
surgery.
popular. It's very popular in yeshivas.
It is.
In a book.
That's funny.
It's interesting because like we have.
So,
Go ahead, Brooklyn.
No, I was just gonna say that, like, in a lot of, like, really, really, pious yeshivas that don't allow college, most of their bathrooms have how to win friends and influence people, healing back pain, and a couple others.
Most of their bathrooms.
Is it John Sarno? Yeah, because it's not Torah. So when you're in the bathroom, the Chavetz Chaim says, well, what should you occupy your mind with? So one of the things was like books of substance.
Healing back pain, how to win friends and influence people, and what's the other one?
I have to remember, but books of that caliber.
You didn't just mention it?
What?
You didn't
No.
just mention it?
No, I said those two, and yeah.
Some others.
Yeah, basically, some pretty big rabbis said that How to Win Friends and Influence People is an excellent Musar Sefer, like an excellent book for character development. And like most yeshivas devote like 20 minutes of study to Musar. I don't know if I was talking with Danny about that earlier today, but some of the classics are The Pain of the Just by Luzzatto and Michtav Miliahu for Ray Dessler. And Ray Dessler himself apparently read How to Win Friends and Influence People and incorporated a lot of Carnegie in Michtav Miliahu. It was post facto somewhat censored, and the references were made more oblique, so that because how could such a great rabbi be reading a secular book, and so on.
It's a good book.
I find the ultra wealthy people I know are happy, very much so, but they were happy before they were ultra wealthy too. Yeah. So I don't think it was changed by their becoming billionaires or whatever. I really wanted to post a link in the chat, but the chat's off for me. But I sent it to Danny. It's an article.
Turn it on.
Let me see. There.
Which book? The back pain?
No, it's an article that in my whole news feed. I just bought the back pain book and sent it to my son.
Yeah, it's life changing actually.
I hope so. That would be amazing.
It is. It's not even that hard.
You know, I could talk replays on and off. Oh. But that's,
Yeah, chat's
You
open.
can toggle what?
I could toggle read on and off,
Yeah.
but I can't tap. Oh, the chat's on now. Okay. So, you did that, Ruben?
No, I did
I
not
did it,
have to
I
have
did.
a mod badge.
Danny,
I
I
did.
couldn't find the setting. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, when I read that book, I had terrible back pain, and literally just after reading it, I would say my back pain went down like 80% instantaneously, which to me is still like a trip to think that just by reading about what's causing back pain psychologically, how that can reduce the inflammation, and how your brain, there's like, it's got to be a subconscious aspect to your being that you're unaware of, that is causing.
This is what cognitive behavioral therapy really leverages.
I read that AI is like changing their code, but like could humans change their code too? Like themselves?
It's got to be education. I mean, you know, the more words you know, the more concepts you know. The more concepts you know, the freer you are. The more, you know, supreme you are in a way. I mean, there's a Supreme store here in Chicago near my house. I see people lined up down the street to go buy this expensive Supreme shit. I'm like, haven't you guys heard of the Torah?
You know about Supreme Spain?
I don't know. Supreme is a
So
Spanish brand.
someone like in Spain rushed to get this Supreme trademark. So like I don't think Supreme. I don't know if they're allowed to sell in Spain in the same way because, or it's just that the other company, Supreme Spain's able to like use the trademark.
It's amazing how people desire material possessions, but they're really not interested in intelligence or how to make themselves smarter. I mean, it's just that to me is like you're 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 not investing in your body. You know, you're investing in these exterior goods because you have a dopamine deficiency.
Can you put your link so we could see what you're doing right now?
I'm icing my foot.
I saw you like bending down.
You know, I've had a lifelong fight back and forth between having things and having no things. You know, when my father died, I've spent a lot of years sort of managing his stuff, and it makes me have a new feeling about stuff. Like, I don't want to have any stuff, but there's also this desire to both collect, which is a kind of a set of weird satisfaction, and to have things that are nice. You know, that you want to have nice things around you. But I don't want to have stuff. It feels like clutters, too. And those are always in conflict.
Yeah, I think you might like this piece that I posted.
So,
No, this like psychedelic thing that his life changed. What?
yeah, no, I saw that. That was in Apple News. I couldn't see it.
Oh, if you put the link into archive.is, you can read it. But basically, he had his life change around when he went on a DMT trip and was listening to an Alan Watts talk about, it's like a thought experiment. If you could be God and get to live any type of experience you wanted, at some point you'll have exhausted like all the really superficially enticing ones, and at some point you're going to put restrictions on yourself, and at some point you're going to be you living as you are right now. And he goes through like his periods of deprivation and his periods of wealth, and also not being happy wealthy, like not liking the clutter, and then whatever. A lot of the things you were speaking about, I think, dovetail with this guy's story.
It's interesting. You know, my brother wrote the Groundhog Day, and a lot of
His name is Dave Rubin? Danny Rubin, yeah. Love that one.
And a lot of where it came from was what happens if you live forever. You know, it's like living the same day over and over is a thematic way of saying what happens when you live forever and go through all those things until you kind of become self-actualized.
Can I ask you a question? Does your brother live in upstate New York and like have a...
Sorry, I lost you.
Does your brother live in upstate New York and have some kind of meditation group? Okay.
No, he's not a meditation kind of guy. He's not a spiritual kind of guy.
I heard that there was some kind of Buddhist thing to that movie, to the story.
Well, there's a lot of, it's considered one of the great religious movies of all time, and a lot of different religions would claim it as articulating something about Christianity or Buddhism or Judaism, a lot of stuff. Existentialism. He has a cool collection of letters from religious leaders who find it a great teaching movie.
Great movie.
Cool. Yeah, thank you. I wish I'd written it. I mean, the coolest thing to come out of it is that the word became a public, it gave new meaning to the term Groundhog Day. It was not, that was, it's in dictionaries as a term. That's, I think, the coolest thing out of it.
Do you think that technically we are all living that movie? And then the way that he gets out of the infinite repetition. Well, what I'm trying to say is that he became happy in the end and fell in love, and that's what ended, the never-ending story.
Well, he changed. He became lovable. He became okay with himself and things, and I don't know.
Well, he accepted his fate, and then he decided to become the best version of himself within the confines of the rules that he was living in.
Look, you're the only variable in the world. You control everything. You decide what your life is, right?
Well, there's also something. I mean, there's a saying that you'll only find the blessed holy ancient one where a man and a woman are united. So the secret key activator of ending that repetition was the woman in the movie.
Well, but it's really that he became someone she could love.
Listen, John, wherever you go, there you are.
Well, he stopped being angry. That was the other thing.
It's Buckaroo Banzai.
He was a road rager up until the end. Phil Connor?
Okay, let me tell you, okay. So I am fallen in love with Aya, a French girl. I love her.
I'd be
She's
interested.
not talking to me.
Great. I'd be interested to hear
He seems to be
surprised in this.
Danny, will you kick this guy to the goo?
So,
cool.
I would be interested to hear what Bill Murray says about that movie, like what it means to him.
I think he and my brother are friends. It's always interesting to me because he's a very unusual dude. I think he has always thought it was like one of the best things he'd ever did.
So what's your brother writing now?
Plays. Just finished a new plays.
Oh,
Well,
right.
first he worked with Tim Minchin. You know who Tim Minchin
oh,
is?
so like how I get to bed, guys.
Oh.
Good night.
He partnered with Tim Minchin, and they did a Broadway musical of it, which was really cool. And then he really got into playwriting, so he's been writing plays.
Wow. Yeah. A couple other things because I'm really into that movie, that I read was that I guess he was supposed to have actually died, was it 10,000 times or something? There's like a magic number there, but then they kind of reduced it.
Not really. I think it's purposely vague how many times he repeats. It's supposed to, I mean, in Danny's mind, it's, hundreds of years.
Right.
It's like, it's many, many lifetimes. And there's lots of places in there where they just kind of blur over how many days it's been. You can count what it looks like it's doing on the screen, and of course it's sort of some finite number, but it really is a lot. Leslie the Queen is here. But yeah, it's a lot. It's meant to be a lot of lifetimes.
Yeah.
There was originally him in a library in town, and he just realizes that he can't write down how many days it's been. He can't mark on a wall because it's gone the next day. So he reads one page in the book and just starts at one edge of the library. And there is a scene somewhere in there where he finished the whole library.
See, now that's a really cool concept.
That got cut out.
Yeah, that's really cool.
But it was trying to emphasize the idea of why, and that this is an exceptionally long time and not just a horrible weekend,
Yeah.
I mean, it is about enlightenment, right?
Yeah. I mean, about not living forever. You know, Danny had just read Interview with a Vampire, and we got into this thing about what would it be, who are you if you live forever? What is your life about? And then the question became, it's really hard to figure out how to portray that in a movie, someone living forever. Usually you get caught up in the backdrop of time changing, like, oh, they're in the Middle Ages, oh, now they're in the Renaissance, oh, you know what I mean? It's like, and so you get caught in the scene of it, and you miss the point of someone living forever because it becomes about those logistics. And so Danny had this other idea about the time loop and realized that would be a way to live forever without having to concentrate on the backdrop.
Ah, that's genius. Yeah.
Yeah.
Highlander tried to do it
right
by going back and forth, right?
Yeah, lots of films have done time, someone living for a long time, but then it ends up getting stuck in history of some sort.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is he works desperately not to make it about the mechanism, like in Big or something, where you gotta solve. The whole movie becomes about trying to undo that thing, and they had made, Harold Ramis had wanted him to have what they called the angry witch, where he bumps into someone who puts a curse on him or something. So you got that happening, and he had to get rid of that. But it came out great.
I used to, John here, comedian, I used to actually watch him do live streams where he would actually be outside of his house, but eventually he just went into his house and never stopped streaming from his house, and now he's basically in a Groundhog Day, and we're all hoping for him to exit the building again.
Well, it's a little bit like Clown House, The house is the metaphor for your brain. You got rooms, you got a fence, you got windows, so the whole thing is about internal illumination. And I would just encourage you to read the Torah and stop your anti-Semitic propaganda and political stupidity on this app. Yeah, Diego here is a vehement anti-Semite and thinks that.
Oh, shit.
What do we call him, anti-Semite?
It's on the phone call, I think.
I mean, he's one of the nicer anti-Semites you might meet.
He's a Jew.
It reminds me of a friend who got, was told in something he had applied to that he was in the bottom 5% of everybody who had done this, and he really should go find something else to do. And he wrote them back and was like, I'm very competitive, and I'm just curious, would you say I'm at the top of that 5% or the bottom?
That's funny.
Who's this anonymous bitch down there? Pussy.
It's a shrimp. It's a bottom feeder. They eat feces at the bottom of the ocean.
He probably stinks.
So Ruben, let me ask you a question. Do you think I looked at your website. Do you think photography, haiku, how do you what is a haiku to you, and what's the importance of haiku?
Give me a sec.
Where is he? I'm gonna rest my eyes, guys. I'm not looking at my. If I start snoring, excuse me, mute me or something.
Thank you. I think that a haiku, this little poetic form, right? Has a number of structural elements. For instance, it has these 3 lines, and it always has a break that makes basically 2 lines in 1 line. And so of a haiku is it's sort of talking about sort of something from everyday life, and then it's usually just sort of drawing this image of a scene from everyday life, and then it has a kind of a left turn, and it's hard to describe that little twist, but it's the all-important thing that makes a haiku is the leap. It doesn't just tell you something, it sort of alludes to something, and then you have this orthogonal thing at the end that makes you rethink it. And what I would say is that there's a big thing and a little thing, and when you notice the little thing, it changes the way you feel about the big thing. I would also say that haiku are almost unnaturally simple. They're tiny, they have only 17 sounds in Japanese, and then they have kind of formality to them, a structure, kind of real formal musical structure that at the same time as it being structured is also very natural. So like a bonsai or like something, or ikebana, the flower arrangements, where they're formal but they're also organic, they feel natural. So all of those attributes that I just described that are part of what haiku are about, and they're about time, they're about the ephemerality of time, the silliness of life, our fleeting nature in the world, and kind of taking joy in that. It's a sweet little flourish. It's a little gift made, like a little origami. So all of the things I just said can be, if you look at great photographs, they seem to embrace those ideas in how they look. They have usually something that's in frame and something else in frame. It's like the relationship of those two things is the nature of the image, the poetry of the image. They're almost a little unnaturally simple, but not artificially so, and so forth. And I studied the history of photography, and when I discovered haiku, I realized that all of those haiku principles really fit really well to all these photographs that people had done. And I think that the work that photographers do unconsciously to sort of simplify, to create these rhythms and stuff, is they don't know they're doing it, but it's unusually analogous to what a haiku is. And so I've been teaching for about a bunch of years this way of looking at photographs, and it changes the way people take pictures and makes it more fun, and you can appreciate pictures better. There.
Is it related? Is there any relation to the rule of thirds?
No. I disproved that also historically. I did a research paper on that, showing how that was an accidental creation, an abomination to photographers in general, and a misunderstanding in the 50s of just people writing about photography who made a mistake, and it got picked up by the army, and then it kind of came out in the 90s as this historical thing.
I'm not necessarily against what you're saying. It's kind of like I'm not convinced that a good movie has a beginning, a middle, and an end either.
Sure, I would agree with you. People get very caught in these schemas, but they're not really there. Groundhog Day doesn't have 3 acts. People have often noticed that structurally it doesn't follow formal structure.
I mean, if I try to fit it into the box, I can think of the time before he gets into the loop, the time during the loop, and then the time when he gets out of the loop.
Well, you could kind of do that, but that's not how it's written. It has other things in it that are shifts of other kinds.
Yeah.
But the point being, the artists do stuff by instinct, and you can sometimes discern some patterns in there, but I think that's sort of bullshit. We find signal and noise. That's what we're trained to do.
Yeah. No, I mean, I would say that the movie really starts when he gets suicidal. That's the real story. Everything else is just build up to that,
He bottoms out. You see this guy bottom out.
Do you think that's like what you would call the ego death?
Yeah, maybe.
So do you think with your photography, like it can also be put into film essentially? Meaning that like your principles can also be done by filming.
Well, this is interesting. My brother and I have discussed this at length. That what I do in photography and what he does in screenwriting are very similar, and we're actually writing a stage play of the two of us working that out. The writing and photography have a lot, how we simplify, how you frame things, how you create delight, etc.
So what's the best plotted film that he hasn't written, in his opinion?
Oh, I don't know. There's a lot of great movies, structurally, like perfect films.
Yeah. Is there anyone that you guys agree on that he's mentioned?
I don't know. I think Galaxy Quest is a perfect film.
I love that movie.
I think it's like structurally perfect. What else is kind of structurally? I think The Graduate is a perfect movie, maybe. I don't know. We've figured this out before, but I can't think off the top of my head. From a screenplay standpoint, that are just, and of course maybe anything by William Goldman, like Butch Cassidy or something.
Yeah.
I think that might be a perfect film.
Yeah, but the Burt Bacharach music takes me out of that movie.
Raindrops keep falling on your head. Okay, it didn't age perfectly, but it's hard to find movies. Like, I think Groundhog Day hasn't aged very nicely, but there's a lot of movies that I remember loving and I've seen since and thought, shit, it's just not quite as fun.
Yeah. I really only watch old movies now.
Yeah.
Although,
I like movies in the old days.
Do you
say
think
Back to the Future. Say Back to the Future, strong contender for a perfectly structured story.
Sure. Jaws, maybe, also.
Yep.
Do you think like Galaxy Quest, coming out in '99? Do you think like that is the peak of American culture and wealth? Because just like with inflation now, I mean these movies with all the CGI, it's not really like in the flesh anymore. So
Well, it's
do you think
changed media. It's
we
changed
peaked?
the medium from a photography medium to a drawing medium. If you can draw it, you can put it on screen. So cartoons can become movies. You used to have to be able to shoot it with a camera to make it into a movie, So it kind of changed the skill set and the opportunity.
Check this out. I just saw this on YouTube. This is kind of wild because I'm a big Star Wars fan. So apparently in 1978 or 1977, they actually did the X-Wings with CGI as an experimental run.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen that? But they.
I wrote the book about it.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I've written
You mean
about that moment.
I had never heard about it. Is that the hidden history of Star Wars or any of those?
It's called Droid Maker.
Droid Maker. Okay. I had no idea. I feel like I've gone deep into the lore and the history.
This motherfucking world is that?
Yeah.
So I have the photo of that. In fact, sitting here somewhere. Really
So apparently he thought it was too clean. That's why he rejected it?
It was very clean.
Yeah.
It still looked computer generated, and they needed it to look like dirty space.
And then they went ahead and they used some of that technology for the last Starfighter. That's what it said in the.
It's funny. I feel like that's just a paragraph from my book. I'm not sure.
I just think because like in this video that I saw, they said it had 60,000 polygons. So it's like, okay, some person, because they didn't have the computing power, so some person literally sat down and like arranged these things.
No, they had computer power, but it was slow going. They didn't hand map it. That's not how it happened.
Okay.
Here, here you might enjoy my other PTR. Is it still here? Yeah,
history. It's really fucking long, but it's so good. So I
PTR for that.
Droid Maker. Let me see.
I'm looking for the, I have the last picture right here.
What am I looking at here? This is like a lamp.
That's a wireframe of them creating Luxo Jr., which was the demonstration of Pixar.
Oh, okay.
That's Pixar's logo before it was the logo.
Right. But Pixar's logo, now we're talking late 80s.
That was 87. Yes, this is late 80s. You could do animation like that. Hold on, I'll pull up your last Starfighter here.
But I'm talking that's what was surprised me is that apparently they tried doing a 3D model in the 70s.
Well, tried it. Well, you'll enjoy this story. Check out that book. I wouldn't say that to many people, but I think you would actually enjoy this. Where's my story?
Actually, Tim, you probably like The Last Starfighter because you're a pilot type of guy. The only thing that doesn't make sense about The Last Starfighter now is, okay, so they're recruiting a great pilot by having this video game, but then the question is, like, if they have all this technology, why don't they have AI? Why do you still need a human pilot or a living pilot? But I guess that doesn't make any sense. I mean, it's easier to say now. You know what's another movie I really like? Speaking of early CGI? Flight of the Navigator. No? Anybody? You guys ever seen videos of how they made that crazy CGI?
What year was that?
I think it's like 86.
So you know, what you want to look at is either Tron or the Genesis effect in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan.
Yeah.
And the Star Trek II Wrath of Khan effect, the Genesis effect there, was the most pioneering of those because they invented particle effects to do it.
Yeah.
So those guys were, really inventing shit. But other people were just kind of doing stuff.
I think Spielberg had a show. What was it called? Amazing Stories or something. Had some CGI in that.
TV quality was 525. It was not film quality by orders of magnitude. So you would start to see effects in TV before features.
Yeah. Another interesting thing I saw from that Amazing Stories is that he did a dry run of the opening scene of Saving Private Ryan. He did a D-Day story in there with Charlie Sheen. Same beach,
Oh, here it is. Here, I'll put this in my PTR 1 second. So this is the CGI version.
Tim, have you seen the Mission Impossible yet? I told you to go. Mr.
No, bro, I've been chasing my tail. I went and bought another car for my son.
Oh, jeez.
Here, PTR for that.
Alright, let me see. Tim, this guy's brother wrote Groundhog Day.
Bro, he's fucking trolling you. He told us he wrote Idiocracy too.
Who did?
No, this is Quinn. I think. No, this is the Ruben guy.
Requit was like trolling us and like pretended that he wrote Idiocracy.
Sam, I can't sleep and what to do. I think I'm not going to work, but I think I'm gonna have to chuck like 10 radicals today to function. Just kidding. Probably like 1 Red Bull and 3 cups of coffee. We'll be okay.
That's amazing.
That's
Yeah, if you're really prepared, okay, that's super cool. I love Bill Murray. But I'm like in a rush. I'm just listening.
If somebody come in the room and say my fucking name and wake me up, that's the shit they do at work. I'll be at work checking in a guest, and they're like, Rosie, Rosie, and when I answer, I forget my mic is open, and they'll say, Rosie, Rosie, screaming their ass off, some of them men, and I'm like, I panic. I'm like, what's going on with my phone? And they'll be saying, anyways, they're fucking annoying.
What's the matter?
I don't know who's fucking anyway right now. Oh, somebody wake me up. Why am I tripping?
Yeah, right to sleep.
Oh my god! So we went to watch the Phase 1 of the Avengers, and we finally finished Endgame yesterday. And I thought the funniest thing in Thor Ragnarok is how Thor keeps telling Bruce Banner, "The sun is going down. The sun is going down." Very down. It's like I can't do the joke justice, but it's hilarious. It's like a way of him trying to soothe him from turning back into the Hulk. Very funny.
Ruben, have you ever heard of the author R.H. Blythe?
I haven't, and I'm actually gonna have to jump off here in a second as a friend of mine's about to show up. But I'll try to hang on as long as I can. But no, I've not heard of that person.
Yeah, you gotta get his books. One is called Zen and Zen Classics. It's an amazing book, and I think it's right up your alley. It's got a lot of cool haikus in it, but it's a profound book. Let me get a link for you. Hold on.
Sorry guys, I'm having a bad day.
And it's only 10 in the morning.
I'll be good in 2 hours. I gotta go to work in 2 hours.
You work in a hotel?
Oh yeah. The only place I'll ever work in my life.
What do you think about the show White Lotus? Accurate?
Are you asking me a question right now while I'm asleep?
Cool.
I'm just here to listen right now. I have nothing to contribute to your conversation. My voice, I can't even talk. Can you hear me? Like, it's breaking up, cracking. I'm about to punch somebody in the face. Anybody that approaches me in public is getting punched in the face. And I'm ready to go to jail. Oh, that's all I know. I don't give a fuck today. We're talking serious business here. We're not talking this Jew this, and I'm gonna fuck her that, and I'm gonna kiss her on the nut that, I'm gonna jack him off tonight. I don't talk like that here or anywhere. We talk business. So, I'm here to listen. What do we want to talk about today, folks? This anonymous bitch is still here, the short-looking motherfucker.
Why don't you mute up? Go to sleep.
I know. I'm just listening.
Guess
I'm asleep. Okay. Good night. My comfortable, my bed. My mattress was like $3K. It's so comfortable. Oh my god.
Hey, I got an idea for you for a movie. So it's like the movie Awakenings, except with middle-aged women on lithium.
On lithium? Not on lithium. That's a trip.
This is what my brother would say to me every time I tell him, like, oh, that's a great movie, you should write
That's
that.
fucked up. I would never do it.
you had was actually Red Bull?
It's more like Coke, but I'm just kidding. I don't do anything like that anymore.
Anymore.
I'm a big
Someone,
now.
I think someone tampered with your drink or something.
No, man. Nobody touches my stuff.
I highly doubt that, but okay.
Do you remember the movie Awakenings?
Yeah.
It's a good one. It's kind of a forgotten movie.
Just
Bad. And apparently based on a true story, but I don't know.
Yeah, but Oliver Sack.
It's a movie called Awakenings. I don't watch movies. How do I? Is it on Netflix?
Rosie, I think what you need right now is not a movie, but an ASMR like video to sleep to, or maybe a head massage to put you into deep sleep. So it's like you want to sleep, but you just couldn't.
My brain won't shut down and I have to take 2 gummies. So my brain and my
Holy
body
shit,
are
yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
detached and I'm tripping balls. This one.
Every time we talk about her sleep deprivation, we get more details of what she's done prior to this moment.
But the good news is I go to work in 2 hours on no sleep. And I can go like 4 days with no sleep. So I'm more than like, I'm resting. I'm good. I have to whisper my
2
son
hours
is
isn't
asleep.
enough.
No.
I know. It's better than nothing.
You sound like you were in a rave or something, like Tomorrowland. Like, I don't sound like you've had a normal day at all.
No, I've been sick.
Honestly, she sounds like a business's wet dream. If she can get the job done and she's fairly conscious, like, it's pretty good. She won't be asking for any raises, I'll tell you that.
You know the movie,
Yeah.
do you know the movie The Hangover? The Asian guy was like, I feed him cocaine and chicken.
Yeah. You're gonna hop out of the trunk. Entire island. Shit out of
You know that Asian guy, because I was talking about Endgame.
Yeah.
He's literally in Avengers Endgame, has no lines. He just plays a security guy. He's standing there. He has no lines whatsoever.
I think he was literally like a dentist or something and just got a weird gig and suddenly became a movie star.
I think it's really funny, especially when he was flying in the sky and he was singing I Believe I Can Fly. With the parachute.
He's really funny in a movie that nobody knows called Don Ready, The Goods. I don't know, probably none of you guys have seen that, but with Jeremy Piven.
No, I've not seen that one.
Yeah, oh, that movie's so funny. It's kind of like a remake of Used Cars, another movie no one's seen, but
I mean, movies are sort of like secrets. A lot of us have movies that nobody else has watched, just us, right?
yeah. It just costs millions of dollars
Yeah,
to make, so you think you'd want to show it to more than one person?
But come on, I mean, I'm talking, of course there's a demographic that the movies watch. Not everybody you meet necessarily has watched the movie that you've watched, Diego. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, but do you think you can memorize a movie more than a book? I mean, to me, it seems like it takes a lot more active processing to do the book, so there's a higher chance that it's gonna, influence you or make you more intelligent versus watching the movie.
It depends on the scene and the strength of the script. You know what I mean? So there are scenes that you can learn easily because of the strength and the concentration you need to be, right?
I mean, I guess what I'm saying is if you read, do you become more intelligent by reading the script or watching the film?
Depends on how you learn.
But it's also categorical. Like, what is the movie about? What genre is it? You know what I mean? If it was like some rom-com or like some, fangirling movie, then you're getting nothing out of that. But let's say it's a sci-fi movie or something that has to do with a chemistry project, then yeah, maybe.
I mean, I think the obvious answer is both. You read the script, watch the movie. But I'm just saying, like, could you learn more from Groundhog Day by reading the script or by watching a movie or both? I mean, it's got to be both.
Well, screenplays are much more difficult to write than a novel, right? Because you only have between 90 to 120 pages. You have to be able to tell a full, well-told story in that amount of time. I think what happens with movies is that educated people, known as actors, deliver the lines usually the way that the writer intended. Whereas if you read and you're not capable of understanding the intention of the writer, you may not understand the cadence or the meaning behind the words.
The meaning behind the words.
Well, yeah, like there's many ways to deliver. I mean, pick your favorite movie with a good delivery. Like Jerry, Tom Cruise says, "You complete me." He says it slightly as a whisper, but you could deliver that line in a million different ways. Like he did,
100.
Isn't this the directing? Like, is it a director?
You guys talked over each other.
They whispered over each other.
What's to say that I'm Egyptian? I'm not even that.
Diego, when are you going to write the screenplay for a guy who creates a Bitcoin washing machine? Why don't seriously? I will help. I will help. Make me your co-producer, and we'll make your movie, and we'll hire Jared Leto to play you.
Jared Leto?
He was just named. I don't know if you saw the news, but he was just named as being a serial pedophile.
What?
Yep. Look it up. It just came out in the news today. The quote is, "He likes him young." Nobody can hear you, brother.
So he's the new villain in the Tron movie, though. He's gonna make that movie fail.
The Matrix.
Go look. Let me get you the news article.
Germany trenches or something.
What you said?
It's called The Cult of Jared Leto.
So you can't hear me and you can't talk. So what's the point of you making a better deal? I don't get it.
You say garbage. Germany.
What?
Garbage in Germany.
Pardon me? What? I don't think you and I come from the same geographical location. I don't think so. Can't be.
I don't speak English actually. I speak language. So my offer is if it does this.
Oh my gosh. Beggars have to be beggars anywhere they go in the world. Okay, comedian, can you just keep on going with the other, like the movie plan that you guys are drawing up?
It's just a joke. I'm indulging Diego's vanity.
What did you say?
I said I'm indulging Diego's vanity to see if I can, fuck with him, basically.
I just wanted the other guards shut up, basically.
Everybody kind of thinks like their life should be made into a movie.
Let me speak about an example in history for you guys. I'm gonna give you a lesson in history. You can imagine all the garbage the history gave.
Hey, Sabra Machen, I don't know if you know this, but nobody can actually hear you.
I don't understand, but you're talking from Germany, not the trenches toilet.
No, I'm just saying this you imagine. Okay, I'm gonna tell you about
Ministry what? not because you spent 2 days in Germany, you're going to roll yourself out of the German. You're not. Just so you know, I hate to burst your bubble.
No, I'm just saying that I don't speak your language. I'm not from.
You've literally been in Germany for like a few months, dude. You cannot tell me concentrate.
You're paying Egyptian living in the Middle East, like the garbage.
Bro,
I'm sorry.
oh my god, I cannot believe this. I cannot. You can be racist as much as you want.
You're camera writers, okay? I'm sorry.
I went to the
Shut up, bro. You have the worst. Where are you from, you fucking packy? Shut up. I'll fucking do multa with your mom.
He's actually from Egypt. He basically did not find a job in Egypt, so he basically
Sorry to hear
traveled
that,
to
bro.
Germany
Oh, you're a
to
Muslim?
find
You're a fake African? That believes in African gods? Wait, you're a fake African that believes in African gods. That makes
like my ex.
Do you know your pharaoh gods were black, right? So you're basically racist to your own gods.
Okay, there is no concrete evidence of them being black.
Okay, well, some of them obviously were. But like when you look at Buddha,
Okay, guys. No, we're not going to listen. Don't talk to anyone here. You're literally distorting the pictures of the picture of Egyptians out there, and I'm one of those people. So I'm not gonna allow you to distort the image of my country, you little shit that went to Germany for 2 days. This guy
fuck your country.
This guy went to Germany for 2 days and he put the flag on his bio on Instagram. And he went to Egypt.
They probably hated him when they were over there.
They never got his God. Come on.
Damn.
You're going to be extradited back to your country pretty soon. Mark my words. I'm not a camel rider. Even if I were a camel rider, I'm better than you still. At least I'm an expat, not a fucking immigrant. I don't think Rosie can sleep anymore. I think Rosie's done. You have a what, passport? You have a
Hey,
red
Tom, this room got really ethnic really fast.
Yeah.
No, it's not ethnic, Diego. It's not. It's just disguise and pageant. What are cowards? I'm sorry, what? What are... Okay.
Are you fucking retarded? What fucking animals you got in Egypt, you fuckface?
Guys, mind you, this guy just literally traveled from Egypt to Germany, and he's forgotten that he comes from Egypt. Can you imagine?
What do you guys have horses in Egypt, you retard?
No, I don't know what the fuck he's up to.
You guys eat camel humps in fucking Egypt too, you fuckface. Why are you acting stupid? Hey, we ride the camels, but over there from where you're from, you fucking eat them, huh?
I don't understand, but where I'm from, I've never seen a camel.
If I'm a faggot, then why'd I lay on your mom's milk?
I don't give a shit.
You know why? You know why I'm being so mean to you? Because you're fucking.
No.
The way you speak, you just want me to lay on your mom.
Abby, this guy had a camel from midwife when he was getting birth. Oh my god.
Does he even know what he's saying?
I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know.
Just learn the English fucking alphabet or some shit.
You don't speak German either, by the way. Your German is shit. You just learned.
You speak Arabic now? What are you, a camel rider?
You're fleshy. That's all he knows, a little piece of shit.
You sound like you just took it from your uncle, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Were you molested as a child? Yeah, you're right.
What are you blabbering on about? We really have to feel like the victim.
Yeah, you know, this you know when you get sedated in the hospital, that's exactly the aftereffect of sedation. We don't know what you were saying. We have no idea. That's the thing.
That's fine.
What's up, Rose?
Introduce yourself.
Wait, would you say, Rosie?
When you have to hit the word count in an essay.
Somebody mentioned,
Rosie, what was it?
oh, was it Abby?
Oh yeah, you guys can call me Abe, or you can call me Alec.
Oh, Alec. Perfect. Abby, Alec. Okay.
Wait. Is that AI voice? Rosie?
What is happening to this?
Are you making AI voice?
We made it.
What did you just say? He has a
He's
gun.
gonna say-
The waters are getting stagnant into this.
Someone said you have an AI voice, Rosie.
That's what they kicked me out. They're like, bitch, get out of my bitch. Hey, you sound like Google voice.
Might sound like a human voice.
I'm not sure about that.
Tasneem, where are you from?
Oh my gosh, I hate to say it right now because this
She's
is
from the garbage of history, Alexander.
I'm from Alexandria, Egypt. Oh my gosh, bro, this guy right next to me right now, who's actually from Egypt, who was born and raised in Egypt, is denying his heritage, where he comes from, just because he went to Germany for 2 days. You went to Germany for 48 hours, bro. Bro, you stepped in the airport and you deleted your fucking
Yeah, I'm
Instagram
from
profile.
Mesopotamia.
Oh, really? In Palestine? Iraq, right? Iraq.
Above Palestine.
Where are you from? Abby?
I'm from Lebanon.
Oh, I love Lebanese. Oh my, I love Lebanese people.
It's okay, I love you too.
No, for real, I have so many Lebanese friends. You have no idea.
Me too. I love Muslims. I love Egypt.
But not that one. That breed is new.
Man, shut the fuck up. I'm talking to Tasneem for a second.
I've seen a lot of like Lebanese beaches and so.
He's not gonna hook up with you, Ibrahim.
Seriously, stop interrupting.
Literally.
And then you've never met your.
Damn.
Oh, are you from Norway?
Oh, you're from Norway?
Yeah, come my friend.
I'm going there soon.
Okay, I'm leaving that room. It has degraded. So what do you think? Do you think they're gonna take over California? Like declare martial law?
They already have.
No, they haven't. It's not even close.
There's Mexican flags being flown in the streets. How do you feel about that, Diego?
I'm okay with it. I mean, we didn't cross the border crossed us.
Make California Mexico again?
Well, it always has been. But, no, it takes a lot for them to lose. They don't jump out like a flag,
Yeah, Mexicans
it's
are
not
very
like, oh, they killed somebody. Yeah, it's not like they just, they killed somebody. Like, no, they literally, are supporting our family.
Yeah. But you're safe,
It's not
right?
even about supporting them. It's about, the whole, I come in like the Gestapo and throw you in a van kind of thing. That's the problem.
There was an ICE van that not ran over, but a man fell when he was I don't know, it was weird. Did y'all see that ICE van that hit a man?
Didn't even hit him. The fucking guy just fell backwards and knocked himself out. He jogged with it for like a good 30 seconds. This guy died. He was trying to stop the car and he fell backwards while the car was basically kind of pushing him. But it's his own dumbass. People fall and hit their head and die all the time.
He did not get that.
He did? I thought he died from that. Really? I'm pretty sure the article said he died.
No, I watched the video. I saw
I'll be right
my audio is crap.
Okay. It's just Kitover and Princessia now.
What are you doing today?
Working.
On what?
My freedom.
On Clownhouse, huh? That's nobody. Anybody who says, "Oh, I'm working," this is just background noise. They are the biggest liars.
It is just background noise for me.
Well, no, there are a bunch of people who have. I couldn't do it when I was working. I needed to focus on the task at hand.
Yeah.
I could not imagine. First of all, I was a boss, and I saw someone working for me with their phone and their shit plugged in. You know, I'd be like, no.
I do that. I do that.
I know, but like music, that's one thing. But
Yeah.
people talking to their phone while they're working, like, no, I want your undivided attention.
Just a mall cop, man.
What?
Like just a mall cop.
Yeah, Paul Blart, right? Was that his name?
Yeah.
Hey, Tim.
Yeah, yesterday was very difficult for me to hear all the Jewish people making. Never mind.
Yeah,
Just say
I
it,
understand
Hilda.
that. I understand that.
It was too much.
Don't live in the
If I didn't
past.
have a viral video, I would speak my mind used more freely.
Oh, you're restricted now.
What, Diego?
That's how you got yourself into the video is by speaking freely.
I was trying to take a more nuanced issue. I think there were people a little bit more hardcore than me, and you know, I was trying to.
I just want to hear speaking to the settlers that harass and burn the land, but on Clubhouse.
You know, these are settler wannabes. So no one in this app is a settler burning down in their mind.
But Daniel's almost there. Yeah. Daniel's almost there though, you know it.
Who?
Daniel's on the payroll.
So
He's
is
not on
Norm.
the payroll.
So is Norm. And then
No, these are lowhards.
What's wrong with being a settler? I mean, it's a valid question. I mean, what do you think America is?
Kitover is against international law, the settlements.
I know, you know, but America didn't belong to the settlers. It belonged to the people that they ran off the land. You must have the N-word Tourette syndrome.
Yeah, you know, there's one key, like, it's one paragraph long, and it says, you know, creating a homeland for the Jewish people shall be done, which may, nothing, it should be clearly understood that nothing shall be done which may prejudice the civil and religious rights of existing non-Jewish communities in Palestine, or the rights to political status enjoyed by Jews
I know
in
that's
any
the
other
Lost Cause
country.
letter. That's the letter, but the problem is it says non-Jewish. It doesn't even identify who they are.
Well, that's everybody who's not Jewish.
Yeah, I know, but the language itself is telling on it. It's telling. The way that it's
written to Jews, and they're saying that you can't fuck a non-Jew. That's what it says.
No, it's saying, look, I'll read it in its entirety because it's one paragraph, it's 30 seconds long. His Majesty's government view with favor the establishment in Palestine of a national home for the Jewish people, and will use their best endeavors to facilitate the achievement of the subject, okay? It being clearly understood that nothing shall be done which may prejudice the civil and religious rights of existing non-Jewish communities in Palestine. So they want to do something, but not at the expense of other people. That's pretty simple and even-handed.
Okay, so what has occurred?
No, you said what about the Balfour Deck? I'm just speaking of the Balfour Deck.
Yes,
You
so
brought it up.
what has happened in reality? speak when spoken to, as
Yes,
a
sir.
good woman would.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I didn't say
Speaking your mind is exactly how you ended up in that mess.
You are right.
And the reason is... Go ahead, Diego.
No, speaking doesn't get you into the mess.
Women are not good at reasoning. So the more they open their mouth, the more foolish they look.
But again, talking doesn't get you into that problem.
No, the expression is, you see that fish on that wall there? You know how it got there? It opened its mouth.
Can't hear you, man.
Whether or not she lunged out and reached at some guy, she was still the video's still going to get the exact same contribution. The speech matters.
Yeah, speech. Yeah, but not from a legal standpoint. You can't get arrested for speech.
Effectively in America, you can.
You can't. Yeah, if you make a specific threat against a specific individual at a specific time, that's the Supreme Court test.
Nora, have you had anybody come up to you and say, "Are you Nora from that video?"
No, because it doesn't look like me.
It won't look bad.
No, she's admitting to being a catfish is basically what she just said.
Nora,
No, it's the opposite.
it's been at least 48 hours since the good news come true.
No, I don't have any answers.
Since what? 48 hours since what time? No, I couldn't hear you.
So Tim, what's it like having a midlife crisis and buying another car that you don't need?
Jews have to do with this.
Juju. You don't know Juju?
Yeah, two Jews. What
Juju. It's bad karma. It's bad, like... Juju is...
fucking around.
I like my Jews.
You have to abuse the Diego because he's Jewish?
Orange. I like them orange Jews.
No, it's more like juice and pears. What?
Hey, more the merrier. Squeeze them all.
Diego became Jewish?
You know, I get $500 finder's fee if he converts. So, can I claim
Yeah,
that?
you not see his profile picture?
Oh,
Okay, Sarah.
and it's that same guy from the 1950s.
Okay, PTR now.
He's on your side, Yaakov.
Oh, yeah. Wait, he's not wearing a yarmulke. He's half on her side. Hey, yarmulke, what happened? Come on, put a yarmulke on.
Hey, where's the black cube?
Right there.
Really? Oh, I got it. Oh, okay. I'm driving. I'm not being killed.
Yeah, don't get killed over a Jew.
Over a black cube. No, we have a phrase in my country which says, closed mouth does not flies come in.
Wait, I never heard that phrase. I live in...
Oh, can you put your mouth closed now?
It's a Spanish thing.
Right, I thought you were from the U.S. Weren't you born in the U.S.?
Yes, but you know, it's like, the difference is that I don't like, yeah, I understand when people say, where do you come from? I understand what those questions mean. I don't like, how are you
In my country, like, I'm assuming you were from this place.
The Jews have a homeland, right? So to speak. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm an American, not an Israeli.
Did you see that in Spain, Yakov, they started putting free Gaza on the lights, traffic lights?
Do you believe
Yeah,
it? I saw that
Barcelona.
it's real.
Oh yeah, I took a bus. I was in like a bad part of town today, and I took a load of photographs of like Palestinian murals for you. Oh Tim, I forgot to ask you. So what's the deal? Are you guys on the brink of civil war, like in the actual Ireland, like? No, good morning. It's all over the news. Like the people are fighting the cops. Oh, in Ireland? Yeah, over the Muslim thing. Not good. Yeah, but that'll be outside. That'll be in, I think in Mexico for us. It's a different country. Yeah. No, but they're saying on the news that they're on the brink of civil war. Good. It's funny, you know. Then they need to aim their ire at who matters. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
is it okay if I speak, Master Diego?
Oh wow, Diego, you have conditioned this one quite well. Congratulations.
Well, the question is, has he been called professor yet? All Diego's communication is explosive. That's
remember when you sent me that?
Oh,
And
no.
you're like, I found Nora, and it was before it ever happened.
To ignore it.
you put it in my head. Jacob, I want to read to you about what you said from the Balfour Declaration. So this is from Khalidi. He writes, significantly, the overwhelming Arab majority of the population, around 94% at that time, was unmentioned by Balfour, except in a backhanded way as the, quote, existing non-Jewish communities in Palestine. They were not described in terms of what they were not. They were described in terms of what they were not, and certainly not as a nation or a people. The words Palestinian and Arab do not appear in the 67 words of the Declaration. This overwhelming majority of the population was promised only civil and religious rights, not political or national rights. By way of contrast, Balfour ascribed national rights to what he called the, quote, Jewish people, who in 1917 were a tiny minority, 6% of the country's inhabitants.
It was not written for Palestinians. It's not meant to be fucking offered them. You know, it doesn't matter if it offends, right? It wasn't meant for Palestinian eyes.
Yeah, exactly.
So why the fuck are Palestinians getting upset with the fucking wording to Jews? It said non-Jews. So they're communicating to the Jews, anybody that's not Jew shall not be infringed, basically.
Right. Right. They're telling you you can do something, but not at the expense of these other people.
6% of them.
Well, it turns out to be 11% after Jordan was cleaved off. But yeah, at that time it was 6.5%. But ultimately it was 11% of the area west of the Jordan River.
Okay, so the point of bringing up the opportunity, the intent was that Palestinians to themselves, right, to be untouched, unharmed.
To do what they wanted.
That's right. So what ended up happening?
Yeah, the audience to this letter was told, here's what we think we're supporting, but you can't run hog wild at the expense of the other people. It's exactly protecting the other people.
That's right. But then they started bombing the King David Hotel, and they didn't give a shit.
Well, that was...
That's right.
Okay, back to California.
They invented modern day terrorism. And those very people were elected into government.
A lot earlier than that.
1940s, bro.
Oh, it goes back...
Actually, modern terrorism was invented by the Bolsheviks in the Russian Revolution. You should know a little.
And it goes back earlier than that.
You mean that's the Jews as well?
Open a book.
There were people sabotaging the Romans. There were people sabotaging the Romans. Colonial times when the Romans were there.
Modern day terrorism was invented by El Nasr's nose.
Oh no.
Clubhouses now that terrorizes cocaine. People who read books and people who like animals like this. Like you plagiarize books. You kind of look with your nose. Is it reading on the Rikers Island? He's the It definitely isn't. Anytime your rabbi's mikvah, he's looking for little boys. Your baloney stand hungry. Little boys. They're hungry for little boys. Time to start the bubble bath at the mikvah. Feeding time. Get undressed time. Come on now, jump up in there with the little boys. It's the Epstein bath. It's the Epstein bath. Come on, jump up in there, Nasser, with your leopard spin speedos. Jump up in there with your leopard spin speedos. Come on here. Does it have the tassels on the side of them, by the way? That's illegal. Come on,
Oh man.
when he shakes, it just does a little jingle. Thank you for our correspondent from Rikers Island.
Hey.
From the synagogue of Rikers Island. You can have another bologna sandwich. I'm reporting straight from the synagogue of Rikers Island.
Resistance, are African Americans the true black Hebrew Israelites?
Why would I give a fuck if they are not?
Well, just asking you.
Nah, they're just colonizers like they're probably colonizers like the European Jews.
What's your religious background, Resistance?
Islam.
Oh, you're a Muslim?
Now, before that,
Before
you reverted.
He's a violent criminal, actually. I didn't really particularly have a fair. I had whatever my parents told me to do. He's also an
he's a snitch.
Catholicism. He's a professional snitch. Yep.
Oh, so does he rat on? Who does he rat on? Muslim Islamic terrorists?
Yeah, hold on. I'm the one who brought down the whole Jewish ring of the organ sellers and the child pornography. I brought them down. I'm the one who testified against the Jews. I'm the one who brought down the Jews.
Okay.
Yes.
How old were you when you were a virgin?
16.
Did you just recently march for Malcolm X?
Your parents' permission, like, because you're
You didn't go to the Malcolm X march in Brooklyn?
Dad, you're dead. Come on. My parents are living well and great. Absolutely true. Swear on the ship. Swear on the ship.
Rumble.
Swear on the ship.
Square Park. Is there gonna be a 2.0 version of that, or?
For what? His nose could be flying. Yeah. I don't know. You gotta understand. He was scared, man. He's a lot of drugs.
Remember the fat cow that was hiding on 11th Street inside the toilet? Remember that one?
Hold on. I think I got the pictures. I still got the picture of him that day. He was. El Nostro was so high that day, and he was with Tranny.
I was just saying that's not how imagine somebody who can't find Washington.
I was gonna clean my room.
Imagine. Anything gets on 8th, everyone can find it now.
That's right.
No, he couldn't find it. He put it on 8th Street.
I was gonna go on mute.
Well, the word is on 8th Street. What's that?
It's
It's not on 8th Street.
Yeah, blow it. My mom.
You can't read a map.
My mom used to illiterate university.
Yeah, I used to terrorize people in that park all the time.
Are you gonna do it again? You gonna do it again, Ethan?
You know, I retired. That's what adolescent.
Committing crimes now?
No, I don't commit crimes.
Or what about the one where you hit Yosef?
Yoku, do you know how the criminal jurisprudence system works in the United States, especially in New York? Do you know a little of the concepts?
Because he thought he was a Jew. He thought Yosef was a Jew. Do you still think he's a Jew?
Yoku.
Do you still think he's a Jew?
Yaakov, whatever. Do
Do
you know a little bit how the jurisprudence and law works here in New York City? A little?
Just a little, yeah.
Okay. When someone accuses you of a crime, correct? And let's just per se the district attorney tries to pick up those charges and try to indict you. If 12 yes. If 12 jurors hears this case and they find that what you presented, your attorney of course, was to be the facts and they acquit you, what does that mean?
You're criminally innocent, but you can't still be civilly guilty.
Oh, well, we're not talking about civil. We're just talking about what the facts are. Well, let's deal with what the facts are for now. There's nothing civil happening. When Yosef Haddad got punched in the face, he pressed charges.
Yes.
I was arrested.
And you did it, correct?
And I went to trial for the case.
Confessed here.
The ultimate result of the case was an acquittal. What does that mean, Yoku?
You copped a plea.
Yoku, what does it mean? Can you explain it to El Nostro?
You cop went to
I acquit you. What does that mean?
Did you think he was a Jew?
He is a Jew. He's an Israeli Jew.
No, he's a Christian.
Right, he's an Israeli Jew.
He's an Arab Christian journalist. Look it up right now.
He's a coward Israeli
Should we
Jew.
look it up right now?
I need to look something up.
The case so I can invest, so I can learn more.
Yes, his name is Yosef Haddad, and this gentleman's name is Issa Egelon. ESSAEJELAT.
And when you look it up, you'll see acquittal.
Hang on. He struck Yosef Haddad in the face from he surprised him.
Why are you trying to say it's soft? No, I'm not struck him. I knocked his tooth out his mouth.
Right in his
I
face.
jawed him. Say what it is.
You're a violent criminal.
It's impossible. Why was I acquitted?
And he was, excuse me.
Why was I acquitted if I'm violent?
Hang on, this is outside.
No. Answer the question. If I was acquitted, how am I violent? No. Answer the question, El Nostro. El Nostro, you gotta let the coke come out your nose.
Look it up.
If I was acquitted, how am I violent? Explain it, please.
You just said
Excuse me, Mr. Columbia University. If I was acquitted, how am I violent?
You just said you knocked his tooth out, didn't you?
Yeah, that's called self-defense, according to what the jury thought.
You didn't mount the self-defense.
Then how did I get acquitted?
You
got the plea. We're not acquitted.
You sound like a fool. I went to trial. It says it on the paper.
You did not go to trial. You don't have the papers. You're just a liar. You're just a violent criminal.
You can go to trial. Before the jury comes to him, a plea arrangement can be arranged. So you can go to trial.
We don't believe in pleas when we're fighting against terrorists.
I know. I'm just saying, both
you were fighting against an Arab Christian.
An Arab terrorist. An Arab Jewish terrorist.
He's Iranian.
He's a Jew.
He's Joseph Haddad.
He's an Israeli, exactly. Joseph Haddad, an Arab Israeli Mossad agent. Joseph Haddad is an Israeli Mossad agent. He got his jaw tapped. And I beat the case. And guess what else? I had a Jewish lawyer. And I gave him my lawyer's name before. He knows it. I use my own the Jews to beat the Jews.
He's not a Jew. He's a Christian Arab.
I use the Jews to beat the Mossad agent from Israel.
He's not a Mossad agent. What's your lawyer's name?
He is a Mossad agent.
What's your lawyer's name?
You don't remember?
What's your lawyer's name?
I'm not telling you again. I already told you before.
I think you don't remember.
Of course I do. He's a great Jewish lawyer. He's one of the best actually in Manhattan. He's done some of the greatest cases. His most famous case, I'll give you a hint.
No, wait,
His most famous case was in the 80s.
What's his name?
I'm giving you a hint now. Sure.
No, I don't need that.
You can look it up.
I don't think you
One of
remember
his
name.
his most famous case in New York City was in the 80s. And it happened to do with, in the 80s, there was a, this is how ironic this is, how crazy it is. A white Jewish man was in the train. He happened to have a undisclosed firearm on him. And 4 guys tried to rob him. Very famous case, because he got him off. When they tried to rob him, he shot those 4 people in the train. And he was acquitted. All those people, that's not lawyers.
Are you going to follow them? Are you going to commit more crimes?
I am definitely going to continue my diligence to beat the crap out of any Zionists who are harassing any pro-Palestinian protesters.
You're going to beat the crap out of Zionists, right?
Terrorists. Not a terrorist, yes.
No, you said Zionists.
Zionist terrorists.
So you're going to beat the crap out of Zionists, right?
Terrorists, yes.
You're going to beat the crap out of Zionists?
Not a terrorist, yes.
Which one?
Zionists are terrorists.
Hold on, but which one? Are you going to make a distinction? Are all Zionists terrorists? Are all terrorists Zionists?
All Zionists are terrorists.
So you're going to beat all Zionists?
But not all terrorists are Zionists.
You're going to beat all Zionists, correct?
All terrorists are not Zionists, but all Zionists are terrorists.
So you're going to beat all Zionist stuff, right?
Cool. Do you see that new poll?
Wait a second.
Yes, I'm not sure. He terrorizes cocaine a lot.
You're going to beat all Zionists?
Did you see that new poll out of Israel? The 83% agreed to genocide and ethnic cleansing of the Gaza.
Now, you were just talking, right? You're just a bully. You're not really going to bother anybody, right?
they didn't believe the war aims to be achieved.
You're not going to touch anybody, right? You're just going to...
Hold on. That's what your people are always accused of. Don't try to put that on us. You're always touching somebody.
You're just a liar, right? You're not going to touch anybody, are you?
How I got acquitted. El Nostro, explain to the people how I got acquitted.
You've been arrested numerous times.
How did I get acquitted? Exactly. You can be arrested. That don't mean you're a crime.
Yes,
Anyone can get arrested. People get arrested for allegations. Doesn't make you a criminal.
You were
It
caught
doesn't
on
make you
camera.
anything. Just because the cops detain you
You were caught on
does not
camera,
mean you have committed a crime.
weren't you?
Yes, I was defending. It's called self-defense.
But you didn't
Self-defense.
you didn't say it was self-defense.
Of course I did. How you think I'd be trapped?
You didn't beat the trial.
Yaakov, you want to know the particulars? Because this is how ironic it is. 2 beautiful Jewish protesting women at Columbia University, they were the ones getting harassed by him initially. 2 white Caucasian Jewish
Struck a
women.
peaceful...
Go look at the paperwork, you'll see they came and testified after he beat them.
No, they didn't.
He was violently disrespecting them with words, and as he was yelling at them, spit was coming out of his mouth, and that's what hit them. So when I got involved, yes.
Influenced by U.S. economic
They're like 10 seconds. Okay? That's who the fuck you are? That's what the fuck you want in your ragged ass Discord? Is that if so, I'm not a salesman anymore. I'm not pushing your shit anymore. You can get Shalos to push that shit in. Foundation.
Whatever.
War. Alas, for the kingdom wherein all these are at war. Chapter 6. Caviar. The word was uttered. The one exploded into 1,000 million worlds. Each world contained 1,000 million spheres. Each sphere contained 1,000 million planets. Each planet contained 1,000 million stars. Each star contained many thousand million things. Of these, the reasoner took 6, and, preening, said, "This is the one and the all." These 6 the adept harmonized, and said, "This is the heart of the one and the all." These 6 were destroyed by the master of the temple, and he spake not. The ash thereof was burnt up by the magus into the word. Of all this did the Obsessius know nothing. Chapter 7. The Dinosaurs. None are they whose number is 6, else were they 6 indeed. 7 are these 6 that live not in the city of the pyramids, under the night of Pan. There was Lao Tzu, there was Siddhartha, there was Krishna, there was Tahuti, there was Moshe, there was Dionysus, there was Mahmud. But the 7th men called Perdurabo, for enduring unto the end, at the end, was not to endure. Amen. Chapter 8. Steeped horsehair. Mind is a disease of semen. All that a man is or may be is hidden therein. Bodily functions are parts of the machine, silent unless in disease. But mind, never at ease, creaketh I. This I persisteth not, posteth not through generations, changeth momently, finally is dead. Therefore is man only himself, when lost to himself in the charioting. Chapter 9. The Branks. Being is the noun, form is the adjective, matter is the noun, motion is the verb. Wherefore hath being clothed itself with form? Wherefore hath matter manifested itself in motion? Answer not, O silent one, for there is no wherefore, no because. The name of that is not known. The pronoun interprets, that is, misinterprets it. Time and space are adverbs. Duality begat the conjunction. The conditioned is father of the preposition. The article also marketh division, but the interjection is the sound that endeth in silence. Destroy thereof the 8 parts of speech. The 9th is nigh unto truth. This also must be destroyed, before thou enterest into the silence. Chapter 10. Whittlestraws. The abyss of hallucination has law and reason, but in truth there is no bond between the toys of the gods. This reason and law is the bond of the great lie. Truth, 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 crieth the Lord of the abyss of hallucinations. There is no silence in that abyss, for all that men call silence is its speech. The abyss is also called hell, and the many. Its name is consciousness and the universe among men. But that which neither is silent nor speaks rejoices therein. Chapter 11. The Glowworm. Concerning the holy 3 and not, knew it, had it, Ra-Hor-Khuit, are only to be understood by the master of the temple. is not so. They are called brother and sister, but it is not so. They are called husband and wife, but it is not so. The reflection of all is Pan. The night of Pan is the annihilation of the all. Cast down through the abyss is the light, the rosy cross, the rapture of union that destroys. That is the way. The rosy cross is the ambassador of Pan. How infinite is the distance from this to that, yet all is here and now, nor is there any there or then. For all that is, what is it but a manifestation? That is a part, that is a falsehood, of that which is not. Yet that which is not neither is nor is not that which is. Identity is perfect, therefore the law of identity is but a lie. For there is no subject, and there is no predicate, nor is there the contradictory of either of these things. Holy, holy, holy are these truths that I utter, knowing them to be but falsehoods, broken mirrors, troubled waters. Hide me, O Our Lady, in thy womb, for I may not endure the rapture. In this utterance of falsehood upon falsehood, whose contradictories are also false, it seems as if that which I uttered not were true. Blessed, unutterably blessed, is the last of the illusions. Let me play the man and thrust it from me. Amen. Chapter 12. The Dragonflies. I-O is the cry of the lower, as O-I of the higher. In figures they are 1001. In letters they are joy. For when all is equilibrated, when all is beheld from without all, there is joy, joy, joy that is but one facet of a diamond, every other facet whereof is more joyful than joy itself. Chapter 13. Pilgrim Talk. O thou that settest upon the path, false is the phantom that thou seekest. When thou hast it, thou shalt know all bitterness, thy teeth fixed in the Sodom apple. Thus hast thou been lured along that path, whose terror else had driven thee far away. O thou that stridest upon the middle of the path, no phantoms mock thee, for the stride's sake thou stridest. Thus art thou lured along that path, whose fascination else had driven thee far away. O thou that drawest toward the end of the path, effort is no more. Faster and faster dost thou fall. Thy weariness is changed into ineffable rest, for there is no thou upon that path. Thou hast become the way. Chapter 14. Onion Peelings. The universe is the practical joke of the general, at the expense of the particular. Quoth Frater Per Durabo, and laughed. But those disciples nearest to him wept, seeing the universal sorrow. Those next to them laughed, seeing the universal joke. Below these certain disciples wept, then certain laughed. Others next wept. Others next laughed. Next others wept. Next others laughed. Last came those that wept, because they could not see the joke. And those that laughed, lest they should be thought not to see the joke, and thought it safe to act like Frater Per Durabo. But though Frater Per Durabo laughed openly, he also at the same time wept secretly. And in himself he neither laughed nor wept, nor did he mean what he said. Chapter 15. The Gun Barrel. Mighty and erect is this will of mine, this pyramid of fire whose summit is lost in heaven. Upon it have I burned the corpse of my desire. Mighty and erect is this phallus of is that which I have borne within me from eternity, and it is lost within the body of Our Lady of the Stars. I am not I am but a hollow tube to bring down fire from heaven. Mighty and marvelous is this weakness, this heaven which draweth me into her womb, this dome which hideth, which absorbeth me. This is the night wherein I am lost, the love through which I am no longer I. Chapter 16. The Stag Beetle. Death implies change and individuality. If thou be that which hath no person, which is beyond the changing, even beyond changelessness, what hast thou to do with death? The bird of individuality is ecstasy, so also is its death. In love the individuality is slain. Who loves not love? Love death therefore, and long eagerly for it. Die daily. Chapter 17. The Swan. There is a swan whose name is Ecstasy. It wingeth from the deserts of the north. It wingeth through the blue. It wingeth over the fields of rice. At its coming they push forth the green. In all the universe this swan alone is motionless. It seems to move, as the sun seems to move. Such is the weakness of our sight. O fool, criest thou. Amen. Motion is relative. There is nothing that is still. Against this swan I shot an arrow. The white breast poured forth blood. Men smote me. Then, perceiving that I was but a pure fool, they let me pass. Thus, and not otherwise, I came to the temple of the Grail. Chapter 18. Dewdrops. Verily, love is death, and death is life to come. Man returneth not again, the stream floweth not uphill. The old life is no more, there is a new life that is not his. Yet that life is of his very essence. It is more he than all that he calls he. In the silence of a dewdrop is every tendency of his soul and of his mind and of his body. It is the quintessence and the elixir of his being. Therein are the forces that made him, and his father and his father's father before him. This is the dew of immortality. Let this go free, even as it will. Thou art not its master, but the vehicle of it. Chapter 19. The Leopard and the Deer. The spots of the leopard are the sunlight in the glade. Pursue thou the deer stealthily at thy pleasure. The dappling of the deer is the sunlight in the glade. Concealed from the leopard, do thou feed at thy pleasure. Resemble all that surroundeth thee, yet be thyself, and take thy pleasure among the living. This is that which is written, lurk, in the book of the law. Chapter 20. Samson. The universe is in equilibrium. Therefore he that is without it, though his force be but a feather, can overturn the universe. Be not caught within that web, O child of freedom. Be not entangled in the universal lie, O child of truth. Chapter 21. The Blind Webster. It is not necessary to understand. It is enough to adore. The God may be of clay. Adore him. He becomes God. We ignore what created us. We adore what we create. Let us create nothing but God. causes us to create is our true father and mother. We create in our own image, which is theirs. Let us create, therefore, without fear, for we can create nothing that is not God. Chapter 22. The Despot. The waiters of the best eating houses mock the whole world. They estimate every client at his proper value. This I know certainly, because they always treat me with profound respect. Thus they have flattered me into praising them thus publicly. Yet it is true, and they have this insight because they serve, and because they can have no personal interest in the affairs of those whom they serve. An absolute monarch would be absolutely wise and good, but no man is strong enough to have no interest. Therefore, the best king would be pure chance. It is pure chance that rules the universe. Therefore, and only therefore, life is good. Chapter 23. Skidoo. What man is at ease in his inn? Get out. Wide is the world and cold. Get out. Thou hast become an initiate. Get out. But thou canst not get out by the way thou camest in. The way out is the way. Get out. For out is love and wisdom and power. Get out. If thou hast tea already, first get you tea, then get O, and so at last, get out. Chapter 24. The Hawk and the Blind Worm. This book would translate beyond reason into the words of reason. Explain thou snow to them of Andamon. The slaves of reason call this book abuse of language. They are right. Language was made for men to eat and drink, make love, do barter, die. The wealth of a language consists in its abstracts. The poorest tongues have wealth of concretes. Therefore have adepts praised silence. At least it does not mislead as speech does. Also, speech is a symptom of thought. Yet silence is but the negative side of truth. The positive side is beyond even silence. Nevertheless, one true God crieth Hriliu, and the laughter of the death rattle is akin. Chapter 25. The Star Rupee. Facing east, in the center, draw deep, deep, deep thy breath, closing thy mouth with thy right forefinger pressed against thy lower lip. Then, dashing down the hand with a great sweep back and out, expelling forcefully thy breath, cry, Apo Pantos Kakodemonos. With the same forefinger touch thy forehead, and say, Zoe, thy member, and say, O Phale, thy right shoulder, and say, Iskoros, thy left shoulder, and say, Eucharistos. Then clasp thine hands, locking the fingers, and cry, I-A-O. Advance to the east. Imagine strongly a pentagram, right in thy forehead. Drawing the hands to the eyes, fling it forth, making the sign of Horus, and roar, Chaos! Retire thine hand in the sign of Hor-Pa-Krat. space more swiftly than the stars? Would he eat, drink, and take his pleasure? There was none that did not instantly obey his bidding. In the whole system of 10 million times 10 million spheres upon the 22 million planes, he had his desire. And with all this, he was but himself, alas. Chapter 28, The Pole Star. Love is all virtue, since the pleasure of love is but love, and the pain of love is but love. Love taketh no heed of that which is not, and of that which is. Absence exalteth love, and presence exalteth love. Love moveth from height to height of ecstasy, and faileth never. The wings of love droop not with time, nor slacken for life or for death. Love destroyeth self, uniting self with that which is not self, so that love breedeth all and none in one. Is it not so? No? Then thou art not lost in love. Speak not of love. Love always yieldeth. Love always hardeneth. Maybe I write it, but to write her name. Chapter 29, The Southern Cross. Love, I love you. Night, night, cover us. Thou art night, O my love, and there are no stars but thine eyes. Dark night, sweet night, so warm and yet so fresh, so scented, yet so holy. Cover me, cover me. Let me be no more. Let me be thine. Let me be thou. Let me be neither thou nor I. Let there be love and night and love. N-O-X, the night of Pan, and Layla, the night before his threshold. Chapter 30, Jhana Dreams. Dreams are imperfections of sleep. Even so is consciousness the imperfection of waking. Dreams are impurities in the circulation of the blood. Even so is consciousness a disorder of life. Dreams are without proportion, without good sense, without truth. So also is consciousness. Awake from dream, the truth is known. Awake from waking, the truth is the unknown. Chapter 31, The Garret. It moves from motion into rest, and rests from rest into motion. These it does always, for time is not. So that it does neither of these things. It does that one thing which we must express by two things, neither of which possesses any rational meaning. Yet its doing, which is no doing, is simple and yet complex, is neither free nor necessary, for all these ideas express relation, and it, comprehending all relation in its simplicity, is out of all relation, even with itself. All this is true and false, and it is true and false to say that it is true and false. Strain forth thy intelligence, O man, O worthy one, O chosen of it, to apprehend the discourse of the Master. For thus thy reason shall at last break down, as the fetter is struck from the slave's throat. Chapter 32, The Mountaineer. Consciousness is a symptom of disease. All that moves well, moves without will. All skillfulness, all strain, all intention is contrary to ease. Practice 1,000 times, and it becomes difficult. 1,000,000.
Damn, it's the most dangerous roads ever because they don't know how to drive. One thing I will say about Coney now, though, during the summertime, during the day, like the beach hours, beautiful, all clean now. The beach is really nice, everything. It's a beautiful place, nice. Yeah.
So you want to read the Torah, or you guys want to keep stroking yourselves all day long, wasting a beautiful Sunday?
Tell us what the Torah says about Emelech, about the women, children, and donkeys.
I'm talking about wisdom. I'm not talking about your bigoted, racist, stupid, low IQ bullshit.
You have to read between the lines.
Kitover, have you read the New Testament?
Yeah.
Okay.
My name is John. You don't think I'm going to read the book of John?
What's so new about it?
Even the devil knows scripture, as Randy says.
There you go.
Well, it takes one to know one.
Whoa.
So, oh, did he leave?
Oh, the devil ran away.
So going back to the what we were talking about when we first started this room.
Yes, please.
Look at Kazi Atkins' PTR down there. I was just looking at it. It says that he has $2.9 million in Bitcoin. Diego, do you have $2.9 million in Bitcoin?
I wish.
Well, Kazi Atkins has it.
I mean, does anyone really have it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, some people really do, but I mean, I think a lot of people
how do you
say
own
that.
numbers? Think about that.
Huh?
Do I have the number 2? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, they say all numbers are infinite.
Yeah, so I mean, you can own things like a car, but can you really own a number? I don't know.
Well, it's obviously the purchasing power that it represents. I mean, everybody that I know, everybody that I know that has diversified out of the stock market, they always regret it.
Yeah. You think the Bitcoiners are gonna?
No, I mean, it's just a question of your ROI, but I mean, it's fully liquid now. You can get in and out as quick as stocks.
I guess if we treat it like it's an asset, I guess it would be the greatest asset of all time, bar none, right? Greatest ROI ever.
No, can't be. There's got to be other stocks that have, especially if you would have been trading options, you would be at like 3 million percent.
3 million percent, I think actually, like a fraction of what Bitcoin is. Let me just Google this for you.
I mean, it's a penny to 100,000. That's 100,000%.
Appreciated in percentage since it was created. All right, let's see what. It's an infinite number. It was worth nothing. Right. Well, I mean that's a good way to start it, but so it's an average ROI of 150% times per year, and it says, and so the way that you would calculate it is from the pizza, right? But that's the first thing I ever bought with it. So that's 10,000 coins for one pizza.
Which is what, 0.002?
So yeah, so can anybody do the math on that? So it's 10,000 Bitcoins for one pizza. Jew for the math. Let's call the pizza $10, just for round numbers. That would mean its starting price was what? 1 cent? That sound all right?
Was there a solution to the problem? I'm in the Matrix or you're in the Matrix? Which one is it, John?
I can hear you
I'm
both.
definitely in like bad service area.
Did you all solve the problem? Like with the percentages?
No, I'm past all this.
I don't know, it's gotta be in the millions of percent. It's gotta be in the millions of percent.
All right, have a great day,
It's
you guys.
100, dude, just do the math. I don't know, like.
And it becomes easy. 1,000,000 times 1,000,000. And it is no longer thou that doeth it, but it that doeth itself through thee. Nor until then is that which is done well done. Thus spoke Frater Perdurabo, as he leapt from rock to rock of the moraine, without ever casting his eyes upon the ground. Chapter 33. Baphomet. A black two-headed eagle is God, even a black triangle is he. In his claw he beareth a sword, yea, a sharp sword is held therein. This eagle was burnt up in the great fire, yet not a feather is scorched. This eagle is swallowed up in the great sea, yet not a feather is wetted. So flieth he in the air, and lighteth upon the earth at his pleasure. So spake Iacobus Burgundus Molensis, the Grand Master of the Temple, and of the god that is ass-headed, did he dare not speak. Chapter 34. The Smoking Dog. Each act of man is the twist and double of an hare. Love and death are the greyhounds that course him. God bred the hounds and taketh his pleasure in the sport. This is the comedy of Pan, that man should think he hunteth, while those hounds hunt him.
No, Norma, this is not what I would call Jewish Kabbalah. This is Aleister Crowley Kabbalah, FYI. This is called the Book of the Law.
This is the tragedy of man. When facing love and death, he turns to bay. He is no more hare, but boar. There are no other comedies or tragedies. Cease then to be the mockery of God. In savagery of love and death, live thou and die. Thus shall his laughter be thrilled through with ecstasy. Chapter 35. Venus of Milo. Life is as ugly and necessary as the female body. Death is as beautiful and necessary as the male body. The soul is beyond male and female, as it is beyond life and death. Even as the lingam and the yoni are but diverse developments of one organ, so also are life and death but two phases of one state. So also the absolute and the conditioned are but forms of that. What do I love? There is no form, no being, to which I do not give myself wholly up. Take me who will. Chapter 36. The Star Sapphire. Let the adept be armed with his magic rood, and provide him with his mystic rose. In the center, let him give the LVX signs. Or, if he know them, if he will and dare do them, and can keep silent about them, the signs of NOX, being the signs of puer, vir, puella, mulier. Omit the sign IR. Then let him advance to the east, and make the holy hexagram, saying, Pater et Mater, unus Deus ararita. Let him go round to the south, make the holy hexagram, and say, Mater et Filius, unus Deus ararita. Let him go round to the west, make the holy hexagram, and say, Filius et Filia, unus Deus ararita. Let him go round to the north, make the holy hexagram, and then say, Filia et Pater unus Deus ararita. signs shall be those of Set triumphant and of Baphomet. Also shall Set appear in the circle. Let him drink of the sacrament, and let him communicate the same. Then let him say, Omnia in duos, duo in unum, unus in nihil. Haec nec quator, nec omnia, nec duo, nec unus, nec nihil sunt. Gloria Patri et Matri et Filio, et Filii et Spiritui Sancto. Externo et Spiritui Sancto. Interno ut erat in saecula, saeculorum sex in uno per nomen septum, in uno erita. Let him then repeat the signs of LVX, but not the signs of NOX, for it is not he that shall arise in the sign of Isis rejoicing. Chapter 37. Dragons. Thought is the shadow of the eclipse of Luna. Samadhi is the shadow of the eclipse of Soul. The moon and the earth are the non-ego and the ego. The sun is that. Both eclipses are darkness. Both are exceedingly rare. The universe itself is light. Chapter 38. Lambskin. Cowan skidoo, tile, swear to Hile all. This is the mystery, life. Mind is the traitor. Slay mind. Let the corpse of mind lie unburied on the edge of the great sea. Death. This is the mystery. Tile, Cowan skidoo. Chapter 39. The Luby. Only Lubies find excellence in these words. It is unthinkable that A is not A. To reverse this is but to revert to the normal. Yet by forcing the brain to accept propositions, of which one set is absurdity, the other truism, a new function of brain is established.